Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Port St. Lucie Police Department fourth quarter award ceremony for 2023. I want to thank everybody for being here. I'm joined, my name is, for those that don't know, Richard Del Toro, Acting Chief of Police, joined up here by our Executive Command staff. We've got Deputy Chief Carmine Izzo, Deputy Chief Mark DeMeo, and Assistant Chief Leo Nimzik. And our MC today is going to be our PIO, Sergeant Dominic Massetti. So before we get started, let's all stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get started, I just want to give a couple of shout outs to some important people. We have our Assistant City Manager, Teresa Lamar Sarno, here today. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us. The PD's Chief Legal Advisor, Amber Izzo, is in the house today. Thank you, ma'am. And our Facilities Director, Roger Jacob. I want to welcome you here today, sir. Thank you for taking the time for being here. I just want to say you and your team just do a fantastic job for not only the police department, but all of our facilities here in the city, keeping us looking good. So we thank you and your team again for being here today. Thank you, sir. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and start with our service citations. Sarge.
Okay, normally we do start with our service citations. However, we're going to start off today with our Officer of the Year because this officer is so popular, he's got another engagement to go to. So if Officer Tanner Terrio, if you step up, please, as our 2023 Officer of the Year. Based upon a nomination received by Sergeant Ian Harris, he considers you a team player and are quick to patrol the hot spots and help by taking calls out of your assigned area when needed. During the year, you wrote over 170 reports, made over 30 arrests, wrote over 230 citations and warnings, and 20 FI cards. You worked the Calmoso hotspot, locating a suspect returning to the area where a stolen SUV was recovered, and he was subsequently tied to other burglaries in the hotspot, and that led to the recovery of most of the stolen property. You also worked on locating a missing mentally challenged teenager while remaining in contact with the teenager's mother throughout the night. You are an invaluable asset to the squad, shift, and the department. Your conduct is a cumulative example of highly accredited acts resulting in excellent police work, closing several cases, and saving lives. Keep up the great work.
So in addition to having just great hair, I mean, this guy is so jealous. But no, congratulations. Also, congratulations to him and his new bride, Kaya, on your wedding the other day. And they are in a little bit of a hurry because Tanner's brother, Eric, is actually graduating from the police academy at 3 o'clock and will be joining the ranks of the PSLPD here very shortly. So congratulations on your award. Job well done. Thank you, sir.
Okay, now for our 5-year service citations, Detective Oliver Adams, Officer Fabio Improta, and Detective Michael Oliver. Please step up. For 10 years service citation, Detective Ariel Daly, Lieutenant John Delacroce, and Sergeant Alexandra Derrico. All right, for 20-year service citation, Lieutenant Adrian Caudell, David Hentz, our PAL Director, and Officer Christina Roscoe.
Sarge, thank you so much for showing up today. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, for 25 years of service citation, Sergeant Colin Duncombe, Officer Martin Gobriel, and Sergeant Eric Lavasser. Okay, now for our career ladder achievements. For Police Officer 1, we have Detective Oliver Adams, Detective Kevin Fry, Officer Brennan Lawton, Officer Bryce Thomas, and Officer Samuel Wilson. For Master Police Officer, we have Officer Carl Durbin, Officer Brett LaGrega, and Officer Albert Soul. Next, we have Senior Sergeant, Sergeant David Butterworth. And lastly, for Master Sergeant, we have Sergeant Reese Kilner and Sergeant Dominic Masidi.
So congratulations on those career ladder achievements. Our MC today was actually 25 years ago one of my first zone partners, and he's probably one of the most respected people in the police department as a supervisor, Sergeant Massetti. Reese, you do a good job too, but Dominic and I just have a special bond. He's our new public information officer, and he keeps my day pretty much going straight, so he just does a great job. But congratulations to all the award winners on your career ladders. That's just a great job. Thank you.
Next is our Educational Achievement Awards. Sergeant Salvador Garcia received his Master of Arts in Criminal Justice, and Officer Dionis Veras received a Master of Arts in Criminal Justice as well. However, neither of them can be here today as they are both part of the SWAT team and are currently at the SWAT retreat. Next, we have our unit citations. Our first unit citation for the fourth quarter of 2023 is, we're skipping the SWAT team because they're not here. So next is Special Investigations Division. If you all would please step up. Detective Sergeant Jill Salvez, Detective Sergeant Robert Perkins, Detective Sergeant Joshua Safamilla, Detective Oliver Adams, Detective Matthew Albert, Detective Clayton Baldwin, Detective Sarah Brostonen, Detective Corey Collier, Detective Brent Crawford, Detective Chevron Gockman, Detective Robert Mayer, Detective Edward Griffith, Detective Gerald Harrington, Detective Corey Hewlings, Acting Sergeant Jeremy Lewis, Detective Kevin O'Hay, Detective Michael Oliver, Detective Michael Redwood, Detective John Squateri, Detective Mark Stotler, and Detective Erica Venazio. The Special Investigation Division has worked diligently to remove drugs, drug dealers, and gang members from our neighborhoods. Some of the most notable cases involved the largest seizure of fentanyl in Port St. Lucie's history and investigations concerning the increased motorcycle gangs in our area. The Special Investigations Division has made 202 arrests and conducted over 400 narcotics and gang-related investigations. The Special Investigation Division executed 24 search warrants, 9 buy-bust operations, 81 buy-walk operations, and 3 special operations. The Gang Intelligence Unit has also identified 162 new members and associates, all within the city of Port St. Lucie. In addition, the division seized 10 vehicles, 36 firearms, over $120,000 in U.S. currency, and over $100,000 in jewelry. Your dedication, teamwork, and persistent work only achieved these accomplishments. Thank you for your prompt response and dedication to our community. Sure. And if Officer Brett LaGrega could step up to receive his 25-year. All right, next is our unit citation regarding the holiday event staff and a nomination from Sergeant David Butterworth. Could I please have School Crossing Guard Supervisor Jenny Salima step up? Brennan Brown and Katya Kimball are civilian traffic investigators. And then our School Crossing Guards, Eslyn Bennett, Eileen Brown, Thomas Brown, Ardavan Dargahi, Natalina Ferrara, Teresa Gaspar, Carol Hoberg, Stephen Lamson, Roger Lemaster, Ismail Nieves, Patricia Novak, Linda Odom, John O'Neill, Ludovina O'Neill, David Peterson, Hector Perez, Cherie Portinha, Carlos Rodriguez, Ronald Triggs, and Mary Zinier. Based upon the nomination by Sergeant David Butterworth, during this past holiday season, there were numerous scheduled city events expected to draw large crowds and heavy vehicle traffic. School Crossing Guard Supervisor Jenny Salima, civilian traffic investigators Brennan Brown and Katya Kimball, and the team of School Crossing Guards worked at each event, demonstrating extreme efficiency and professionalism. Because of your diligent work, commitment, and dedication during these events, you ensured a safe and enjoyable night for all in attendance. Thank you for your prompt response and dedication to our community.
So our school crossing guards are like a small army. We have we're allocated for close to 70 school crossing guards. If you put that in perspective, I mean, Stewart PD is about 50 police officers. So we have a lot of school crossing guards. Our Jenny Salima does a great job managing that crew, and we thank you, Jenny. But they keep our kids safe each and every day. But several years ago, Assistant Chief Nimzik, when he was over district support, started actually using the school crossing guards at special events for a lot of our traffic control and different things. So they're our MVPs. We just appreciate you guys so much. So thank you for all you do. Appreciate it.
All right, next is our unit citation for Officer Dean Herzog, School Resource Officer Amanda McCarty-Kaczynski, and Officer B2 Morstant. Please step up. Based on a nomination submitted by Sergeant David Butterworth on October 20th, 2023, Officer Herzog and Officer Morstant were dispatched in response to multiple juveniles actively fighting. Upon the officers' arrivals, the juvenile involved in the altercation had fled the area. Officers Herzog and Morstant began canvassing the area to locate witnesses and surveillance footage of the incident. It was later revealed the group of juveniles were students at the high school that school resource officer Amanda McCarty-Kaczynski is assigned. With the assistance of Officer Amanda McCarty-Kaczynski, Officers Herzog and Morstant were able to identify and arrest the offenders. Because of your initiative in pursuing the investigation, gathering evidence, and efficient teamwork, you were able to stop any future altercations. Thank you for your prompt response and dedication to our community. And next up is our commendation citation for Sergeant Matthew Peterzak. Please step up. In regards to a nomination provided by Lieutenant Kenny, on September 30th, officers were called to a domestic disturbance where a male had armed himself with a pistol while telling his wife he was going to kill himself. The male barricaded himself in the primary bedroom closet and was seen with the gun in his hand. As units were responding, you calmly coordinated their response via radio. You quickly had the subject contained inside the residence. The wife was removed to a safe location for officers to interview them for further pertinent information. You established communication with the subject via cell phone, established a rapport, gained his trust, and in a short amount of time were able to talk the male into exiting the residence unarmed, where he was safely taken into custody. Once in custody, it was learned the subject was armed with a fully loaded pistol and had access to an AR-15 rifle. You brought this potentially volatile situation to a swift and safe resolution while keeping your chain of command apprised throughout. Your immediate actions in the line of duty showed initiative and accomplishment, which led to a successful outcome of the case. As a result of your exceptional work, you are being awarded a commendation citation. Great job. Next is a commendation citation for Detective Darren Lidbetter. Please step up. Based on a nomination provided by Lori Taylor on November 6, 2023, the department received an inquiry from the city manager's office regarding a citizen complaint. The citizen was concerned as he was taken into police custody, and at that time, he had his dog Luna with him. The citizen requested that a friend take Luna to the dog sitter's home, and the friend agreed. The friend instead took Luna to his house. Later that day, family members called animal control to remove the dog. The friend never acknowledged that he was entrusted with the dog, nor did he provide any owner information to animal control officers, believing it to be a stray. Luna was impounded and transported to the Humane Society. We're still going, man. So, long story short, the incident was assigned to Detective Lidbetter. So, through his diligent work, Detective Lidbetter was adamant about returning Luna to the family, that he immediately requested the victim advocate respond to where Luna was being held and bring her home with her family. Upon reuniting with his beloved dog Luna, the citizen was so emotional, could not stop praising and thanking Detective Lidbetter and the Port St. Lucie Police Department. So your determination led to a successful outcome of this case. Great job. Next, we have commendation citations for a group of acting sergeants. So please step forward. Officer Peter Chun, Officer Shane Freeman, Officer William Jarrett, Officer Brett LaGrega, Officer Ryan Lodwick, and Officer Michael Williams. Based on a nomination provided by Deputy Chief DeMeo, the district sergeant is an integral to the Neighborhood Policing Bureau's supervisory staff. They must support the Bureau's concepts and philosophy for the agency's success. The MPB district sergeant operates as the immediate supervisor of the officers directly under their command and is responsible for the appearance, activities, and behavior of these officers. Due to staffing and the need for MPB sergeants, numerous officers were needed to fill vacant positions. Each of you took on the role of acting sergeant for several months and did not hesitate to agree to take on this assignment, which involved many additional responsibilities. You professionally performed your duties and quickly acclimated to their supervisory roles. You were sometimes adjusting your schedules and providing additional coverage when needed. You went above and beyond to support MPB and the command staff. Therefore, you deserve recognition. Great job, and keep up the great work. Next is a life-saving citation. Please step up if Officer Nadia Mastrangiola, Officer Joseph Rathnam, and Mr. Norberto Garcia. Based on a nomination submitted by Sergeant Brennan Vega on October 21st, 2023, officers were dispatched to Central Baptist Church on Southwest Tulip Boulevard about a vehicle driven into the pond behind the church. Upon arrival, officers Mastrangiola and Rathnam determined that there was an elderly male, later identified as an 81-year-old man, trapped inside the sinking vehicle. Officers and civilian passerby Norberto Garcia jumped into the water and saved the man. Officer Rathnam utilized his agency-issued baton to break the passenger's side window to gain access to inside of the vehicle, and officers Mastrangiola, Rathnam, and Mr. Garcia were able to free the victim from the car and swim him to safety. For the above reasons, Officer Rathnam, Mastrangiola, and Mr. Garcia deserve the life-saving citation. Thank you.
So the nomination really doesn't do justice to really what the video showed on the body cam footage from what happened. But Mr. Garcia is actually in the testing process right now to join the ranks of the Port St. Lucie Police Department. So I'll talk a little bit about that more a little bit later. But Natalie the other day also had a huge traffic stop, got 63 pounds of methamphetamine off the street. So we'll recognize you next quarter. You know, we get these command notifications every day when big things happen throughout the city. And Sergeant Massetti had come to me and said the news wanted a little quote about the 63 pounds of methamphetamine. I'm like, 63 pounds? I'm like, I didn't read that in the command notification. They kind of left that little part out. They said it was a drug case, but I was like, it's got to be 63 grams. It can't be 63 pounds. But sure enough, I saw the photos and saw everything that she did. But great job the other day. Heads up police work. There was a taillight out, failure to maintain, single lane. Awesome police work. So thank you.
All right, next up is the Administrative Excellence Award, and that goes to Captain Michelle Steele. Based on a nomination submitted by Lieutenant Kenny, due to possible political events such as the federal trial involving former president and the 2024 elections, coupled with increased volatility and concerns about local protests over national issues, the agency decided we needed to create a mobile field force unit. You were assigned to create the new unit, a leadership team comprised of 1 lieutenant, 2 sergeants, and 2 training officers. You held meetings with the team, the training division, and accreditation to review and update the applicable mobile field force and subject resistance guidelines. And you created an inventory of the agency's current field force equipment was also conducted. An evaluation of the additional current training needs occurred. Several team members were sent to attend training locally and throughout the county. This helped to elevate the new unit to current industry standards, which supports the goal of protecting the officer, city, and agency in case of possible future litigation. The successful formation of the mobile field force is due to your hard work. Based on your creativity and high skill set, you were presented with the Administrative Excellence Award. Great work. And next is the Civic Award for Detective Kristen Meyer. Based on a nomination submitted by Detective Sergeant Daniel Harrington, in October of 2023, you were assigned to a cold case homicide. During your investigation, you learned the victim's family and friends were unable to afford a proper burial due to financial constraints. After learning this information, you began inquiring about getting a headstone for the victim's grave. You contacted a local business that agreed to donate a headstone with no expense. You then reached out to the cemetery to have the headstone adequately placed. Sergeant Harrington added, Detective Kristen Meyer not only cares about the successful prosecution of her cases, but she always has a victim-centered approach and treats every victim with love and compassion. Thank you for your compassion and dedication to our community.
You know, that's just another example of not only the hard work that goes into a case, but they just see everything through and just have such compassion and empathy for our victims that she saw fit to go ahead and make sure that victim had a headstone. Kristen, thank you for that. We really appreciate that. And that's just another example of the great work that's being done in the Port St. Lucie Police Department. So thank you all. Appreciate it.
Next is another civic award for school crossing guards Eileen Brown and Stephen Lamson. Please step up. Based on the nominations submitted by your supervisor, crossing guards Eileen Brown and Stephen Lamson noticed an elderly grandmother struggling to walk and stand while waiting for her granddaughter during the school's release. Eileen Brown and Stephen Lamson brought the grandmother a chair and went above and beyond by giving the grandmother a mobility walker with a built-in seat. Your supervisor added, school crossing guards Eileen Brown and Stephen Lamson are shining examples of compassionate and caring individuals that demonstrate how a school crossing guard assists children crossing the street and the well-being of the children's guardians. Because of your thoughtfulness and acts of generosity, you are worthy of the civic citation. Thank you for your prompt response and dedication to our community. All right, next is our volunteer of the fourth quarter, William Kelly, police volunteer. Please step up. So based on Donna Hence's nomination, you've spent the last 16 years as a volunteer and captain for the Southwest Newport Isles Community Patrol. You have been the eyes and ears of the police department, putting in many hours to ensure the safety of our citizens. We thank you for your dedication and hard work for our volunteer program. We appreciate you and are lucky to have you on our team. Volunteerism makes all the difference. Thank you. All right, the next award is our civilian of the fourth quarter. That goes to Saris Garcia, administrative assistant. However, she could not be here today due to her prior engagement, but let's wish her a welcome and a thank you. All right, next is detectives of the fourth quarter, and apparently there were two tied, it looks like they were tied together, Detective Courtney Druga and Detective Janet Palmer. Please step forward. So based on the nomination by Detective Sergeant Aaron Martin, you've been nominated for your outstanding collaborative efforts working in conjunction with detectives of the Martin County Sheriff's Office, St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, Indian River County Sheriff's Office, Stewart Police Department, agents from the Financial Services Bureau of Insurance Fraud, agents of the Office of the Attorney General, State Attorney's Office, and the Port St. Lucie Building Department. This multifaceted investigation successfully uncovered one of the largest contractor fraud schemes along the Treasure Coast and led to the arrest of the Pro Pool Builders owner, George Galazewski. As you both began interviewing the victims and reviewing their contracts and bank records, you immediately noticed Pro Pool Builders, LLC, had intentionally priced their jobs tens of thousands of dollars lower than any local pool contractor to entice homeowners to contract with them. After a review of the company's computer, business, and financial records that were seized from the search warrant, it was determined that the owner did not have the means or intentions to complete any of the contracts after closing their business doors on April 15, 2022. As a result, an arrest warrant was issued and the suspect was arrested. Keep up the great work. All right, next is our officer of the fourth quarter, Officer Keith Applebaum. However, he could not be here either, so let's just wish him a thank you. All right, next is our volunteers of the year. Again, we have multiple. Paulette Murphy, Susan Rombola, and Lois Rosen. Please step up. So based on a nomination from record specialist Carmen Tiena, you have worked tirelessly and selflessly throughout the year to keep the police records division running smoothly. Due to the increasing amount of work generated by our department, you have volunteered numerous hours verifying documents, scanning, filing, shredding, and preparing files to be destroyed. You have exhibited professionalism, confidentiality, and passion for supporting the Records Division and the entire police department. Thank you for your service.
So our volunteers, we have close to 200 volunteers in the department, and they are all coordinated by our awesome volunteer supervisor, Donna Hentz, who's running up here taking extra photos by Ernesto. But our volunteers save us close to $400,000 a year with the volunteer hours that they put forth for our community. So thank you all for what you do. Job well done. And I know the records section's been working extra hard because of the data breach that we had in St. Lucie County. Our record system was down for close to over a month, so there was a backlog there, and I know Linda and her staff are just working, so I'm sure they'll be recognized next quarter as well. But thank you all for what you do, and a job well done.
All right, next is our Civilian of the Year for 2023. It's going to be Operations Division Director Bill May. So based on a nomination received by Assistant Chief Nimzik, you have worked diligently on numerous high-maintenance projects throughout the year. One noteworthy example was regarding the replacement of our radios. Upon learning that St. Lucie County SO also needed to replace all their radios, you arranged a consortium deal purchasing in bulk quantity from Motorola and the Sheriff's Office. As a result, you saved the city, PD, and our residents over $500,000. Additionally, you worked on troubleshooting many significant issues, such as revising the process for handling and processing 1 PSL calls, identifying the cause and recovery process for the recent CAD network outage, streamlining the process of equipment issues for sworn officers and civilian employees, and working on the Cry-Wolf ordinance to reduce false 911 calls. You collaborated with your team and purchased 65 vehicles for the police department for the 2 fiscal years combined. A vehicle auction resulted in a total recovery of over $40,000. You continually go above and beyond the call of duty, making yourself available to address department needs 24/7. Keep up the great work.
Bill, can't thank you enough for all you do. Just had a well-deserved promotion from administrator to director. If you need someone to get something done in the police department, you go to Bill May. Bill May is just the first ballot Hall of Famer here in the Port St. Lucie PD. He's been here for such a long time. I won't say how many years, Bill. But we are so blessed and lucky to have you, because he has a saying, you know, if you don't take the ball and run with it, somebody else will. And I know he has an awesome staff that he works with every single day that helps him do what he does, but he is just amazing. He's a magician, really, what he gets done, and I just can't thank you enough, Bill, for all you do. Thank you.
All right, last and certainly not least is the Detective of the Year for 2023, and that would be Detective Mark Stotler.
Yeah.
Based on a nomination received by Detective Sergeant Josh Safamilla, you are one of the most active members within the Special Investigations Division, routinely serving search warrants on residences and cell phones, identifying new gang members and associates, effecting arrests for narcotics and firearm-related charges, as well as completing court orders to bring successful closures to your cases. You have been working in partnership with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives to assist with any local investigations or contacts as requested. You have developed contacts and built bridges for resources that stretch from as far north as Indian River County down through the southern tip of Florida. Additionally, you took on several ancillary roles, including being a field training officer and a department high liability instructor. You take great pride in ensuring the members of our agency are taught to the best of their ability. You assisted, educated, and trained newly minted police officers and your fellow detectives. Lastly, you also aided in numerous homicide investigations involving gang members over the last year, which led to new intel being gathered and possible evidence being uncovered. Keep up the great work.
So if you ever look up the definition of a cop in the dictionary, that's it, Mark Stotler. He is just an awesome police officer and detective, does just such a great job. And when we were up here, we were congratulating him. He says, I have an awesome team that I work with. And he does Special Investigations Division. The work they've done this past year has just been amazing. Expect more great things in 2024. But I believe that's our last award, correct? Yeah, Tanner, I know went first, so it was a little out of order, but he had to get up to the academy. But, you know, awesome 2023. I suspect we are going to be the safest city once again in the state of Florida, which isn't anything new to us, but it's something that we strive for to make sure we keep Port St. Lucie safe. But I do want to take a moment and just ask everyone to keep Trooper Zachary Fink in your thoughts and prayers. Next Monday will be his funeral. For those that don't know, he was killed in the line of duty this past Friday here in Port St. Lucie on Interstate 95 going after a fleeing vehicle, reckless driver, and turned out to be a fleeing felon. It was a very tragic moment, very sad. It's not the type of call you want to get at 3:30 in the morning to hear a fellow officer has been killed in the line of duty. But I am very proud of this agency for their response, especially the leadership, the officers, not only trying to do life-saving measures to Trooper Fink on scene. The officers that were there just did an amazing job, and I can't thank them enough for their efforts. And there was really nothing they can do. It was just a total tragic scene there. But what followed was a massive 4-hour manhunt, in addition to large amounts of traffic being diverted through the city of Port St. Lucie from I-95, the Turnpike, both north and south. And it was a tragic scene, but it was one, I can't tell you how proud I am of this agency for our participation, because we were able to catch that suspect about 4 hours later and in honor of Trooper Fink and his service, and brought him back here to the Port St. Lucie Police Department. Through our cooperative efforts with the FHP and our detectives, we're able to make a successful case, and they actually brought Trooper Fink's handcuffs to the police department to put him on the suspect as we took him to jail, and rightfully so. So just a great job by everybody involved in that investigation and the follow-up. It was a long day, but one that I'll never forget in my career, and just couldn't tell you how proud I was of this agency, this staff. And I can't say enough about the staff and the job that they do each and every single day. Just the support they provide me, provide the officers here, great leadership. I just appreciate them so much. But great year in 2023. Thank you all for what you do. We are continuing to grow here in the city of Port St. Lucie. I mentioned Mr. Garcia going to the academy applying. We had 27 applicants this past weekend, about 30 more this week, because we are doing something historic, because we are putting on the first Port St. Lucie Police Department Police Academy in cooperation with the Indian River State College. We're going to have our own police academy class. It's going to be the first one ever in the history of that college and that academy. As we continue to grow, we're going to be adding 30 officers hopefully through that class to bring us to a sworn total of about 320 sworn right now in the police department. So the sky's the limit. We're the sixth largest city in the state of Florida at 240,000 residents, and we're not slowing down. There were over 4,200 single house permits pulled last year, and we're this close to being the fifth largest city, about 15,000 people behind St. Petersburg. So I know we all think of ourselves sometimes as little Port St. Lucie, but we're very big. We have that little small hometown feel to it, which is nice. Because we are the safest city, thanks to the hard work by the men and women here at the police department. It's an honor to be here to lead the charge, but what you do each and every single day is just amazing to me, and I can't thank you enough for all the hard work you do. So I love you, pray for you every single day, and thank you all for what you do. So with that said, please join us across the street. We have refreshments for everybody. Let's celebrate, take some time for fellowships, celebrate these wins. But thank you all for being here. Be safe to you, and God bless you all. Thank you.